Let's do a settlement discount example. Saltan Construction manufactures gates, palisades, burglar bars and any other type of steel construction work their clients require. Saltan's biggest supplier of steel is Remington Steel, and they have had a customer-supplier relationship for over 10 years. This has put Saltan in the privileged position of receiving trade and settlement discounts under certain terms and conditions. Saltan makes use of the perpetual inventory system. Very important. There you are. The terms stipulated in the supply agreement include the following. Saltan has 60 days to pay their account from statement date. So they have 60 days to pay their account from the statement date. Now, have you noticed that we have a new word here, statement date? Then they say, however, if payment is made within 15 days from invoice date, a discount of 3% will be granted. If payment is made within 30 days from statement date, a discount of 1% will be granted. So, think about it carefully. They've got 60 days from statement date to settle their outstanding balances. If they're going to pay the invoice within 15 days after the invoice date, they will get a 3% discount. If they pay within 30 days, not from invoice date but from statement date, a discount of 1% will be granted. Discounts cannot be granted for both requirements. The highest discount will be granted when both requirements are met. Remington Steel sends out statements on the 29th of each month. So there they give you the statement date. The statement date is the 29th of each month, including all transactions from up to the 25th of that specific month. The following transactions occurred in the 3 months February to April. You are required to prepare the general journals for the above transactions. Okay, now let's see what happens on the 3rd of February. 2 tons of steel invoiced at 13,000 Rand. That's the invoice value. This invoice was still outstanding per the supplier's statement for February. It was, however, settled on the 15th of March. Now let's look at the general information. You may assume that it will always be probable that Saltan would take the discount, and it is more probable that a 1% discount will be granted than the 3%. All amounts are inclusive of 10% VAT, not 14% to 15%, but 10%. Okay. So what do they tell you? They say the probability is that they're going to make use of the 1% discount. Now that means when I'm going to do the purchase transaction, I will have to create an allowance for settlement discount equal to 1% of the VAT exclusive amount. So on the 3rd of Feb, they have bought steel for 13,000 Rand. So let's do the purchase transaction first. We have seen that it is a perpetual inventory system. So therefore, because it's a perpetual inventory system, we know that the purchases should be accounted for against inventory. The second thing is what we have to determine is what is the invoice value. Now the invoice value is 13,000 Rand. What is the third step? Take out the VAT. And they tell us we have to work with a 10% VAT. So once we took out the VAT out of the invoice value, we end up with a VAT exclusive amount of 11,818. We take the VAT exclusive amount next step and break it down into the 2 legs. Now our probability is we expect that we're going to pay in order to make use of a 1% settlement discount. So 1% will go to our allowance for settlement discount creditors account, and 99% will go to our inventory account, statement of financial position. So 11,700 to inventory, allowance for settlement discount 118. If I add those two together, where am I? Total VAT exclusive amount. What is my VAT? 11,818 times 10%, VAT input 1182. And then what goes to my creditors account? The invoice value of 13,000. So if I add it all up, it must balance back to my invoice value of 13,000, which is posted against creditors. Now we pay that invoice. We settle that on the 15th of March. Now let's look at the settlement agreement. They say if we pay within 15 days from invoice date, is it 15 days from invoice date? No, that should have been on or before the 18th of Feb. So it is not. So we do not qualify for 3%. Is it within 30 days of statement date, which is the 29th? So the 29th of February times 30 days, yes, it is within that period, so they actually qualify for the 1%. Good. Now we have determined number 1. Do we qualify for the settlement discount? Number 2, we have to determine what is the amount we're going to pay now. Now it will be the invoice value multiplied by 99%. So the invoice value multiplied by 99% is the payment that will be made out of our bank account, 12,870. What is the amount we want to clear out of the creditors account? We want to clear the invoice of 13,000 out of the creditors account. What is the difference between the two? The 1% settlement discount that we've utilized. We have already made provision, there it is, for that 1%. So we must now just take it out of the books. When does the allowance account expire on settlement discount? On payment date, or if the discount period has expired, then this account also expires. So we have to take this 118 out of the books now, and that equals 1% of the VAT exclusive amount. So all we have to do now is to add the VAT, 10% of 118 equals 12, and remember now we have received a discount from the supplier. So therefore the VAT would be VAT output. We have to pay the VAT included in the difference between those two amounts over to the receiver of revenue. So 118 times 10% is 12, 12 plus 118 plus 12,870. That will bring you back then to the 13,000 Rand. On the 10th of March, 15 tons of steel were purchased. The value of the steel was 90,000 Rand. However, because of the large quantity, Remington Steel granted a 2% trade discount. That is a purchase transaction. Let's handle that first. What is our first step? Our first step is determine the invoice value. Is the invoice value 90,000? No, we have received a trade discount. Trade discount is already deducted from the invoice value. So our invoice value is 90,000 times 98%. 88,200. We determine the invoice value. Step 2, take out the VAT. We have to work with 10% VAT. Gives us a VAT exclusive amount of 81.82. Step 3, break it down into the two legs. What do we expect? 1% to utilize. So the other 99% will go to inventory. 99% of the VAT exclusive amount, 79,380, is posted to my inventory. My allowance for settlement discount creditors, 802 Rand, that will constitute the 1%. Allowance for settlement discount, 802. What is the VAT on the invoice? It's the difference between 88,200 and 81.82, and we can claim that now from the receiver of revenue, 8018. What do we post to our creditors account? The full invoice value of 88,200. 8,200. Good, now we pay. This invoice was paid on the 24th of March. When did we buy? On the 10th of March. So it's 14 days from invoice date to payment date. If it's 14 days, we are now entitled on a 3% settlement discount. So what do we determine first? Did we pay within the settlement discount period? The answer is yes. Second question is, how much did we pay? Well, we qualified for 3% discount, so therefore we only paid 97% of the invoice value. Not the 90,000, the invoice value. The invoice value was 88,200 times 97% gives me the amount paid to the bank, 85,554. What do we want to take out of our books? The creditors amount, which equals the invoice value of 88,200. What is the difference between the 88,200 and the amount we pay? the 3% settlement discount. How much of this 3% settlement discount have we already accounted for? We've already accounted for 1% of the VAT exclusive amount. That's how we work it out. So now we have to take it out of our books. Payment took place and this thing expires now. So we take out the 802 Rand. How much settlement discount did we get? We got 33%. We've already accounted for 1%, so we still have to account for an additional 2%. That additional 2% cannot be posted against an allowance account because this doesn't exist anymore. It expired at payment date. So what goes hand in hand with this account? There you see it, the inventory account. So the additional 2% will have to be posted against the inventory account. How do we calculate settlement discount? We take the VAT exclusive amount of the invoice and we multiply that by the settlement discount percentage. 1% is already in the books, so we must take the VAT exclusive amount multiplied by 2% to make provision for the additional 2%. And that gives us 1604. 182 times the additional 2%, 1604. What is the total discount received? The difference between 88,200 and 85,554. That includes VAT. So if we take the VAT exclusive amount, the difference between the two, take out the VAT, multiply that then by 10%, it will bring us back by the VAT on the discount. Alternatively, all I have to do is to add the total discount received together. This is both of them are VAT exclusive. So 1604 plus 802 is the total VAT exclusive discount received, and then that is 802 plus 1604, and that we multiply by 10%. That gives us our total VAT output of 240 Rand. If I now add those four figures together, it will bring me back to the 88,200. The last one, on the 26th of April, Saltan purchased 5 tons of steel for 35,000 Rand. The invoice was paid on 29th of June. So, what is our invoice value with a purchase transaction? 35,000 Rand. Determine the invoice value. 35,000 Rand. Take out the VAT. VAT exclusive amount, 31,818. Break it down into the two legs. We expect that we will make use of 1%, so 1% of the VAT exclusive amount will be posted to our allowance for settlement discount creditors, 318 Rand. 99% of the VAT exclusive amount will be posted to our inventory account, 31,500. The total VAT on the invoice is the difference between the 35,000 and 31,818, and that is the amount we're going to claim as VAT input from the receiver of revenue, 3182. The invoice was paid on the 29th of June. Let's check. Do we qualify for settlement discount? Is the 29th of June 15 days after the invoice date? No, clearly not. Is it 30 days after the statement date? Now, the first statement would have been the 29th of April. So by the 29th of April, let's say the 30th of May, at least they should have made payment if they wanted to make use of the settlement discount. They only paid the 29th of June, so therefore they forfeited the discount and they're not entitled on that. So what is the amount that they have to pay then? Then they have to pay the full invoice amount of 35,000 Rand. So bang, credit 35,000. What was the amount we have to take out of the books? 35,000. But remember when the purchase transaction took place, we created a 1% settlement discount. Did that thing realize? No. Is that still valid? No. We have to take this out of the books, so we're going to credit that account with 318 Rand. What goes hand in hand with this account? Inventory. There you can see 99 and 1. Inventory. What should our inventory have been if we paid the full invoice value? Then my inventory should have been debited with a total VAT exclusive amount of 31,818. So here we said inventory is the counter leg of that transaction of the allowance. We would have debited inventory, credited our settlement discount allowance account. Now, what is now the total amount for this invoice that we've posted against inventory? 31,500 plus 318 gives us 31,818. And what is 31,818? The total VAT exclusive amount of the invoice.